Sponsored by Baked Good. Fact: Baked Good delivers delicious homemade sweet and savory treats to Accra and Tema on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays. You can pre-order via WhatsApp at 055 95 305 88 or on Instagram via DM at BakedGoodGH.
Hello and welcome back to the Wonder League podcast for episode 6, I believe. I'm your host, OG. SG and PM, I'm back from the very exciting Valentine weekend. Guys, how did it go?
I should be asking you, how did it go for you? I'm as single as it comes.
Sorry.
You're the one for all the girls.
The line is breaking. SG?
Oh man. Yeah. It was Valentine's last week. Man, someone should have told me. This explains a lot.
This is how you are pretending. You let me go and ask what really happened from your significant others. Some of you have more than one, so I'll use plural.
Before we start debating the rounds, PM, what's the question for the week?
Question of the week is very simple. Who has made the most? It always is. Always. We want you guys to participate. Everyone should get a chance. Who has made the most appearances in the Premier League era? Who has made the most appearances in the Premier League era? Do send your answer to our Instagram account, Wonder League, or you could just leave a comment below if you're watching on YouTube. Or we have an email address, podcast@wonderleague.com. Or you can even send it to Twitter, The Wonder League, @The Wonder League. They have many options. So just let us know what your answer is. We will tag you and make sure that you are entered in the competition.
Anyway, game week 26 coming up. Guys, as always, this is being recorded as game week 25 is going on. Do not attack us for anything we missed that happens during or right after this game week. Lot of double game weeks next week and the following week. Are there any games you guys are looking forward to just off the top?
Liverpool, Chelsea,
right?
Chelsea, Man United. Chelsea have a double game week, one of the most brutal double game weeks in the history of double game weeks. You're playing both Liverpool and then you're playing Man United. Although, nowadays Liverpool, I don't know if you want to be afraid of them. So
yeah.
They don't really have defenders. They have what? As we are recording this right now, Jordan Henderson has been injured, so they really have no defenders. They have backups. So we'll see.
Okay. SG.
Yeah. That Chelsea United game and that Liverpool Chelsea game. Oof. Chelsea is looking brutal this game week. It's going to be something special. We'll see what Tuchel has in store. But other than that, the other game I'm really looking forward to is Leeds Aston Villa. Two exciting teams to watch with a lot of players on show. Really interested to see how that goes down, as well as Leicester Arsenal in a showdown of reversed fortunes over the past couple of seasons. It's going to be a very interesting game.
The Premier League should hire you as a hype man because seriously, Leeds Aston Villa, that's the game you want to glamorize. Can you name one Leeds fan? Name one Leeds fan. Name one Aston Villa fan.
SG.
I thought so.
Jack Grealish.
I'm happy you have him in your phone.
I mean, I'm not a Leeds fan, but I do like watching them play. I think they're the most exciting team to watch this season.
Great. Okay. Like I said, you should go and work for the Premier League because see how you've glamorized one of these games. Like seriously, ask any Premier League fan in the world what game they are looking forward to in the week. I promise you that is not the one they are going to see. Not saying it's not a good game. I'm just telling you that is definitely not what they are going to see.
Hey, this is what happens when you're married to the game, you know.
Exactly.
I'll tell your significant other. Oh, I'll play this for them.
I'll play this for them. All right. And as always, we started with certified clean sheets. Let's get straight to it. Like we mentioned, double game week. I had a quick question. How do you guys advise generally approaching it, especially for keepers? Let's say I don't know who you want. Let's say you felt like Nick Pope had a guaranteed clean sheets coming on, but it's not a keeper unless Martinez had a double game week. And do you feel like you just need to have the keeper as a double game week, or you go for the one that your show will give you the clean sheets? PM.
Well, if we are talking specifically for this week, everyone has a double game week. But to answer your question, I'll go if one of the keepers I think is going to get a clean sheet, I'll go for that keeper. And I'm not really worried about what happens in both games. I'm just thinking of if they can make it happen in one of those games. So really, you have two chances to make it good in one of those games. So if both or one of those games is going to be a good game, I'm definitely going to pick that keeper. But otherwise, for keepers, it's really hard to predict who's going to keep a clean sheet.
Definitely.
So Martinez has been doing really well this season.
Nick Pope.
Martinez has been doing well this season.
Hating has started already. Way too early to hate, bro.
Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, negative points. Okay.
Ready, clock.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on, but I didn't know the cheating has started really early this game weeks. But anyway. So Martinez has been doing really well this season. And for me, it's more of a situation of if you have a good goalkeeper, keep him and don't really necessarily worry about, who is he playing? And it's so hard to predict, man. If you have a keeper that has been giving you, consistent points, in the top 3 or top 4 goalkeepers, just keep the status quo and don't worry too much about making a transfer to get him out, because it's not worth that potential -4 or the free transfer that you lose.
Yeah. Okay. And SG, with that said, who is the best keeper for game week 26, considering all the the games being played? Because it's a long week, so it's a lot to.
It is a long week, and despite what my esteemed colleague PM would have you believe, not everyone is playing twice. There are only 17 games during this game week. So, but that being said, one keeper I have in mind is Lloris. He may be a little more expensive, and I agree with PM here. Don't break the bank to switch your keepers. It's just not worth it. But if you have Lloris, he's looking good. They play Burnley, and Spurs play Burnley and Fulham, both games in which they could potentially get clean sheets from. So Lloris would be my pick at keeper for this week. But don't waste your time trying to get him if you can't. The way this game week is set up, just keep whoever you have on there.
Okay, PM, who you got?
Okay, you're coming back to me now. Great. How to get out of -2, part 1. So I'm looking at Man City, and Man City, they win everything. And who you should keep, I'd say Ederson. The man even gets assists. If you have Ederson, keep Ederson. But once again, don't break your bank to go and get Ederson. Especially the reason why I say Ederson is, if you look at all the squads in the Premier League, if there is one team that has 2 squads that can win the Premier League, is Man City. Their A team can win the Premier League. Their B team can win the Premier League. And in a game week like this, where you are playing 2 games in a short space of time, rotation and player fatigue and all that has to be managed, and that's going to be key. So I think Man City has the best chance of performing to their optimum quality in these games, and I would go with the Man City goalkeeper if I have him.
Okay. Well, you both said don't change, keep the keeper you have, but so that's the advice we're giving to all the listeners. Just stick with whoever you got. There's no one you feel is worth that -4 or worth taking a risk for.
A goalkeeper, no.
Yeah, no. Okay.
They are not going to give you that number of points. It's risk reward, and the reward is not that high for you to take the risk.
Even though it's 2 game weeks, SG.
Even though it's 2 game weeks, man. But
yeah.
Okay.
It's just not worth the reward.
Okay. Great. Okay. Right. So that's it for certified clean sheets. SG doing his thing. PM about to start complaining. Okay, moving on to solid defenders. Again, considering the double game week, are there any teams you believe listeners need to have defenders from? Any teams you believe they need to drop all defenders from for this game week? And I'll let SG start with that one. Actually, you know what? PM.
Oh, wow.
Why don't you start us off?
Thank you. You're far too kind. So Arsenal is one of the teams that is not playing 2 games. So really you shouldn't have any Arsenal players in there because double game week is all about maximizing your chances, getting the most points, and you only have one chance to get a lot of points with Arsenal. Granted, Aubameyang might do a stupidness or a nonsense and score like 10 goals, or some Arsenal defender might perform some magic, but what are the chances of that? Very slim. So I would drop Arsenal defenders. Another thing, I don't want to. I feel like if I start on this, I'll be saying a lot during this podcast. But Man City have a squad, 2 squads good enough to win the league. So if you can't go for defenders, go for defenders from Man City. But other than that, also I would be dropping Chelsea. They might do a nonsense too and beat both United and Liverpool, but when I always try and avoid big games when I can, because you can never predict them. They could go both ways. But other than that, I like the chances that Spurs defenders have, and I'd try and pick up a Spurs defender if I can.
Okay, that's a good one. SG.
For me, I'll be looking at Villa defenders. The Villa plays Leeds and Southampton in this next round of fixtures.
Yep.
And Leeds are almost always a goal threat. Or I think this game week 25 was their first blank in forever. I don't see that really continuing, but I do feel like some Aston Villa have some good defenders that are cheap, and they have a good run of fixtures coming up after this too. They play this week. This week, for instance, they are playing Leeds and Sheffield United. But after that, they play Wolves, Newcastle before they go with Spurs, then Fulham. So, Aston Villa is not a shoddy team. They've been playing well. So yeah, I'll look there for something.
Okay, that's great. And PM, just like last week, give me your starting 4 or 3.
So
defenders, yeah.
Like I said, I'm going to try and go heavy on the Man City defenders, and because of that, I'm definitely going to have what's his name, John Stones in there because he's cheap. That's the main reason. Diaz is also wonderful, but Stones is actually just 9 points off Diaz, and I think that out of the two, when it comes to value, I'm definitely going for John Stones. And I guess also I said I'd try and pick up a Spurs defender, and Spurs, I don't even know what to say about their defense. Like sometimes they play so well and sometimes they don't. But I guess out of all their defenders, without even paying so much attention to form, the defender from Spurs that I trust personally the most is usually someone like Toby Alderweireld. And he is someone I'd go for because the Premier League is saying that Aurier is not going to be playing, and neither is Reguilon. So, you have a few defenders to choose from, and Toby Alderweireld is one of the guys I'd go for. And I guess to cap off my defenders, like I said, trying to go heavy on Manchester City defenders. I'd probably go for Ruben Diaz. Go heavy on the Man City. Granted, if you had asked me what is my full 11, I probably wouldn't pick 2 City defenders. But if you are just asking me for defenders, I'm picking 2 City defenders. If that makes sense at all.
SG, does it make any sense to you?
I'm sure there's some sense to be found in there. No, it does. It does. I mean, I get what PM is saying, and I have to agree. City is a juggernaut right now. They are compact at the back, and I mean, there's starting to be rumors put in the newspapers about giving Ruben Diaz a run at Ballon d'Or if City managed to win all 3 titles this year. So I can see where PM is coming from.
Are they out of the FA Cup?
No.
So don't you mean 4, don't you?
Yeah, but they'll lose one of them. It'll be fine.
Very, very slightly. No one is paying attention to the fact that they are in 4 competitions and could win all 4. And it'd be unprecedented. And, we wouldn't, if that happens, we never talk about United's trouble again because it'd be eclipsed.
All right, okay.
Did I say something funny?
No, apparently.
I thought so.
You know what? Another quick question. With all the rotation and you mentioned the double game weeks, it's a short but long week. So with the City defenders, who's most unlikely to to play what? Who's most likely to play both games actually? Can you confidently say any 2 or 3 or even any one will play both games?
I'm going to assume it's for me.
Yes, it is for you, PM.
Okay, so I think I'm going to go with probably a Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz is probably the guy who... I like that he cheated for me today, actually. I just wanted to point that out. But Ruben Diaz is probably the guy who would play, both games, if you ask me. And to be honest, I see both John Stones and Ruben Diaz playing both games. Because a defensive partnership is one of the things you don't want to break up too much. Your back 4 and your goalkeeper is one of the things you try and keep constant. So, yeah, maybe he has a few wing backs, a few full backs that he might pull in and pull out of his team. But in terms of Diaz and John Stones, I honestly see them playing both games.
Okay, great. SG, anything to add to that? Oh, he got it.
No, I think Ruben Diaz is a lock. And and I mean, he's City's best defender currently. And I know Guardiola has rotated a bit, and John Stones didn't play this last game they had, but John Stones I can also see playing both games this week. Central defenders tend to run the least, so the short turnaround shouldn't be as much of a problem with them. And like PM said, you want to keep your defensive partnership, building that understanding, that bond, and keeping them together as often as possible.
Okay, nicely put.
Give him some points for copying me.
You're right. He deserves one. Teamwork. That's all we're about.
Makes the dream work, though.
Yeah, we're tied at the end of defenders. Moving on to midfield maestros. Again, similar question to the previous one. Just give me names who are we picking up this game week and why. And you know what? Let's switch up a little bit. Let's leave the obvious ones out, like Son, if you're going to mention him, or Fernandez at United. Because I think at this point everybody has them in your team, and if you don't, you really just don't want them in your team. There's no convincing you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So PM, want to convince the listeners.
Okay, so I don't know if this is obvious to everyone because he is one of the top midfielders in the division, in my opinion. But of late, I have been telling you about a good man named Harrison Barnes, and I'd really like you guys to pick him up. Yeah, another guy is also James Maddison. Funny enough, they play for the same team, and I will almost make the case of having both of them in your team.
Okay.
But if you had to pick one, I'd say pick. It's so hard for me to say which one, but I'd say pick Barnes. As apart from those two, the league isn't really flush with people that are for certain going to be all that. I mentioned a certain Eze who played for Crystal Palace, or he plays for Crystal Palace. But I said he's more of the guy that you look out for next season when you are picking your team. But I will say they are playing Fulham. Now, the thing about Fulham is they've been playing extremely well. I can't even hate. At the beginning of the season, I kept saying they are going to get relegated. They are going to get relegated.
You've been saying that a lot.
I think they might still get relegated, but it will be like very close. They've actually really impressed me. Yeah. And, I still want to say that Crystal Palace will beat them. And as is really the new Wilfred Zaha. Once Zaha leaves, he's going to inherit the mantle. But once again, more of a next season guy. So as far as this season is concerned, I've realized that Thomas Tuchel really trusts Mason Mount, and I'd say another guy that you could have in your team is Mason Mount.
Great. SG.
For me, I'll start with Pedro Neto. I know this next game week Wolves are playing Newcastle and Man City. The City game in particular being tricky. But if anything good is coming out of Wolves, and a lot of good has been coming out of Wolves in their last couple of games, I think they've won they won 3 out of their last 5 or 10 points out of their last possible 12.
Right.
I guess counting yesterday, that becomes 13 out of 15. So they're on a tear. They've found their rhythm without Jimenez, and Pedro Neto has been the source of that. So I'd definitely consider him. He's a cheap option at 5.7 million at the time of recording, and he's high up there. One thing I will say, I want to disagree real quick about Barnes and Maddison. Not about picking them. I think both of them are really good, but I would pick Maddison over Barnes. I just think Maddison creates more chances, and he's higher potential of getting you points more consistently. But you can't go. I don't think you can go wrong with either. That being said, and then last but not least, James Rodriguez. He has been blighted with injuries, so I know he's a little expensive, but he's coming back from injury, and he's kicking back into the form we saw him at the beginning of the season before he got derailed by injuries. And the next couple of games, this game week, they have Southampton and West Brom, so what better way to turn it up and notch more? I mean, he got an assist today against Liverpool, and he's just playing his way back into the form we know he can play in. So I'd look out for him.
Okay, great. Pierre, I remember you're really high on him in the beginning of the season, singing his praises week in and week out, and of course he's been injured and out. Are you confident he's going to bounce back to where you expected him to be before the season started?
Who are we referring to?
James Rodriguez.
Oh, James Rodriguez.
Man.
I haven't seen him over a long period of time, and I know he's been injured. I'd say that, dude, there are better options. There are better options. We mentioned Barnes, and we mentioned Maddison, and really with the evidence in front of me, I said what I said because that was the evidence I had at the time. The evidence has changed, and so my opinion has changed. That's normal. It's not normal, actually. It's smart. But yeah, I'd say, look, if he picks up form, maybe I might change my opinion again. But from the evidence I have in front of me at the moment, man is not going to pick up as much form as some of the other high performers in the league. We are looking at Fernandes, Salah, Son, Grealish, good one, Sterling, Rashford, Barnes, Maddison. He's not going to crack that's list in terms of form from now to the end of the season. So and
Okay.
especially his price he's priced much higher than say Barnes and Madison, and
it's
so I would
pretty
say
up there.
why are you picking Rodriguez over those two?
That's a good point. Okay. So SG, give me your starting 5 midfielders for the game week.
Well, are we still doing
no.
unknowns
No,
or
no.
lesser known people
No.
who are
No,
not
you
in the
good.
public eye?
No, you good now.
We good.
Yeah, you good.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to put Fernandez in there.
Okay.
I'll put Fernandez in there. I'll put Mo Salah in there because Salah has an knack for big games, and I'm looking at that Chelsea game, but they also play Sheffield, so
Right.
and I can see some magic happening there. I'll put. Let's see. I want to say, let me put Madison in there because they play Leeds and they play Sheffield United. I do like Madison a lot. He's my man. And I suggested Pedro Neto, and I'll stick with him. He's been performing really well. He's up there. He has 2 good-looking fixtures coming up this game week, so I think he's good for some points there. And last but not least, I'll put James Rodriguez because Everton is playing Southampton. Granted, it's at Goodison Park, and their form has been patchy of late, but they've also not had James Rodriguez playing at the peak of his powers due to injury and other things. And the other game is West Brom away, so I can see him picking up a whole boatload of points this game week. So that would be my starting. That would be my 5 picks for midfield. If you're stacking your midfield, then that's man. If you're playing that 3-5-2.
Yeah, definitely. And PM, are there any players he mentioned you would replace, or even just take out and not knowing? Yeah.
I don't know if he mentioned Kevin De Bruyne, and because of that, he deserves to be slapped.
Actually.
He deserves to be slapped. They didn't mention Kevin De Bruyne. But other than that, I would have Barnes instead of Madison. But really, it's really like picking one twin over the other. It's like picking Rafael over Fabio. I mean, if Fabio was on the field and had Rafael on his back, would you know the difference? How do we know that that's not what they had been doing anyway? So, Other than that,
So pretty much the same lineup. Like
why not 2 changes?
Okay, great. So that's the end of the Midfield Maestros. SG chucking the deuces to PM. Moving on to the
I wonder why.
Forwards. I don't know if you guys know much about excuse me if I get his name wrong. Mbaye Digne. Yeah, it's in West Brom now.
You slaughtered the name.
Listen.
Oh gosh, it's so terrible. I can say this confidently, and I don't even know how to pronounce it myself, but I know you're wrong.
Kindly correct me.
No.
Let us.
Oh, PM.
Do any of you know anything about him? He's played about 5 games for West Brom so far. He's had like a goal and about 2 assists, if I'm not mistaken. Is he about to be a hidden gem? Something we could give the fans an insight of before he becomes a popular choice, or we should we shouldn't pay him any attention until he gives us a reason to. PM, since you know so much about him.
Yeah, the man is nuts. He's on loan from where's he even on loan from? Galatasaray, and he doesn't have like Premier League pedigree. Yes, I think in 2019 he scored something like 19 goals for Gala in 30 games, which is respectable, Turkish league, but once again, it is not the Premier League. I will say this though. There's a very specific reason why Sam Allardyce bought him. He's a big man, and Allardyce likes his big men. He had what's the name of that guy from Bolton? Kevin Nolan and Kevin Davis. I guess both of them really. Playing for him at Bolton Wanderers, and he likes to have that kind of big man, and that's the kind of role that our man is about to fulfill. But with that being said, it's a relegation team, man. They are scrapping for it. He could get the goals, he could not get the goals. His job really is to be a nuisance, and that could mean that, being a nuisance so that others could score. It could also mean he could score. It's kind of hard to predict. And either way, it's not worth the risk, man. He's not about to get you more goals than some of the other strikers out there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go for him.
Okay, great. SG, anything to add to that?
I mean, I'll echo most of the sentiments PM said. I mean, if you're at 6 million, he's kind of expensive, but
I thought so.
And he's not really displacing any of your top forwards that any of the top forwards that you have in there already, and there are other proven players. That being said, he could, to answer your question, he could be a hidden gem, and that's when you watch him play. He is very physical on the ball, and I think he can cut it. He'll be able to cut it in the Premier League, so he could very well surprise us and perform. I mean, and West Brom do have a not too tricky run of fixtures coming up in the next game. So, like, they play Brighton and Everton, Newcastle, and Crystal Palace. All time for him to get into some form.
Right.
So he's not as much of a risk as I don't think he's as much of a risk as PM was saying, but I also wouldn't pick him up at 6 million.
I didn't call him a risk. He is.
What did you call
him? All right. He's not as much of a risk as PM said.
Okay. Right. Okay. With that said, then, SG, give me PM, because today's your day. Give me your starting forwards. Give me 3. And
I like how.
Actually, sorry, just give me 2 because we know one already. Even though
I mean, surprise you. Okay,
go for it then.
I mean, surprise you. So, looking at the fixture list, you have to pick what's his name, Harry Kane, if he's fit, and I believe he is. So if you don't have Harry Kane, what are you doing with your life? I just want to give a quick shout out to Timo Werner, who cannot score to save his life. Man, it's so terrible. Like, he scored last week, I believe, but this game week, as of our recording, he missed some chances, man. I'm like, this guy, it's like one of those guys that he do everything perfectly, but when it's time to put the ball in the back of the net, then problems. He run the girl, and when it's time to give the finishing, it's time to give the finishing move, then he can't give the finishing move. But yeah, sorry. So that was just a quick shout out to why he sucks. But anyway, I definitely pick a Harry Kane. And you see, the thing about Man City is Jesus plays sometimes.
Yeah.
Aguero is also back, but he's not fit. So if I'm Pep, I'm not trying to give Aguero a run of games right now, even though I think they're about 10 points ahead. So I want to say pick a City striker, but it's so difficult to say that because you pick him and he won't play.
Yeah.
With that being said, I like the chances of a certain James Vardy. James Vardy. So if you have a Jamie Vardy in your team, keep him in your team. And then, those 2 are guys you should have, and also I guess the last guy you should definitely have Patrick Bamford. So those 3 round it up, yeah.
Okay, great. SG.
For me, For me, the considering this game week, I think yes, you have to have Kane. Spurs are
Can I
playing
backtrack?
Burnley and Fulham. Sure.
Sure, yeah.
So
No,
what your
don't.
points?
What? Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Okay, I see how it is.
Yeah.
I see, looking at the fixture list. Someone corrects me if I'm wrong. I don't even believe that Leeds is playing twice, are they? So
No, they are not.
yeah, so I wouldn't even pick Bamford. So I guess
Yes,
the other.
I knew that was coming as soon as I would point it out.
I
You
mean,
couldn't help it.
Did you point it
I,
out before I said
I
it?
couldn't help myself.
Did you point it out before I said it? No. So
I mean, that's why I said considering this game week. I was trying to subtly plan that into your head.
okay, we hear you. We hear you,
I mean,
Rasputin.
I guess I wasn't trying because I did it. So
Okay, Rasputin, we hear you.
how do you know they call me that too? Jeez, that's why you also listen to me.
I don't want to tell you how the story of Rasputin ended, but anyway, so I guess the other guy that I would pick if I'm not picking what's it called? Patrick Bamford. I'd probably pick Richarlison. So sorry, you have the floor now.
Can I talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking Harry Kane this week. I don't have as much reservation about picking Jesus as you do, namely because Jesus, as the last game Jesus didn't play was like game week 17. He's played some parts in all those, and I see him playing, but I don't think he would. That being said, I don't think he will make my best for it for this week still. I think Kane is definitely in with a shout. Calvert-Lewin, we saw him come back in this Liverpool game. Yep. I know he won't be. They'll probably want to rush him back from injury, given what happened last time that happened. He picked up another knock almost immediately. So Richarlison, if you're looking at Everton as well.
Copy me, I see.
Pardon?
Copying me, I see.
Okay. Let's see. Last but not least, I'll go with
try hard not to copy me. Try.
I'm going back on my word. I'll pick Jesus. I think it'll work out.
Yes, let me tell you something about Jesus. Yeah, you say that he's been playing, but just to give you like a history, he started the last two games. He played against Everton 90 minutes, fine. He played against Tottenham 78 minutes, fine. He fell in my trap, by the way. Liverpool though, then he played 18 minutes, played the game 2 games before that, then didn't start like 2 games before that, then started a game before that, then didn't start the 4 games before that. Then you see, like basically his it's not consistent, is what I've been trying to say. You don't know when the man is going to play. You don't know when he's going to start. You just watch as one of these games, Pep Guardiola plays like Phil Foden in false 9 because he's on the bench.
Okay. That being said, since game week 21, let's go. Sheffield United 9 points, Burnley 9 points, Liverpool 4 points, Spurs 2 points.
Oh, that Everton, 2 points really hit the
5 points. So what? I don't care how much he's playing. The man is
go a lot further back. Start from game week 14.
We are doing current form, aren't we? And he's playing twice. I think he will play twice this week.
Okay, I feel he current form. So I guess in the last 3 games he's got 4, 2, and 5. I guess that's good enough for you guys.
I mean, he's playing twice. I think he's going to play twice this game week, and he's picking up points. So I mean, at his price? Oh wow, he's 9.2.
Oh wow,
he's kind of up there.
Oh wow,
he is kind of up there. But City is playing well.
Mm-hmm.
City is playing well, and given their other options this game week, I trust him more to produce points in both games than some of to give our listeners some other options as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you watch us running Sterling starts at in the number 9.
Yeah, I can't wait for us to get back to this next week and see who was right. And know who we could trust going forward. Okay, great. That's the end of the forwards. 15 apiece. PM, how you feeling? Last round coming up.
Oh, I know what's going to happen, so I'm not worried.
Oh, okay. I won't ask what's gonna happen because and I know, and SG knows.
Yes, everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Nothing to discuss.
Nothing at all.
I agree. Okay. And lastly, Captain. As always, top 3 picks and your selection for the double game week. PM.
Captain, what
here.
them I say? Really top 3. Well, Harry Kane, Kevin De Bruyne, and believe it or not, Richarlison. And
Okay.
out of those 3 really. No one is really impressing me like that in a double. Like no fixtures are really coming out that amazing in a double game week that's going to make me say definitely this guy. Like Bruno Fernandes is always worthy of a captain, but in this double game week he's playing Chelsea in one of the games, and who knows what might happen in that game. So you can't say with any definitiveness, if that's a word, that he's going to perform in that game. So
okay, interesting. So who are you going with? Who are you giving the armband to?
Who am I giving the armband? It's going to be between Kevin De Bruyne and Harry Kane.
And Harry Kane.
But I will say, I'm probably going to give it to Harry Kane because Wolves are kind of Man City's bogey team. They always put up some kind of performance. And it's too much of a risk for me to say De Bruyne because I can see Wolves putting up another performance in that game against Man City. So I will say Harry Kane just because I don't know what will happen in that City game.
Right. Okay. SG.
Don't copy me.
Fernandes, Kane, and the third one is pretty tricky, but
Patrick Bamford.
I think I might actually go James Maddison. Well, Fernandes, I think goes without saying. If United tend to show up against big teams, and if they're kind of playing well, maybe on a high after this last game against Sociedad, so I can see Fernandes doing something against Chelsea, and then the other game is Crystal Palace, and if Crystal Palace is going to be broken down, and I think United have it in them to break down Crystal Palace, given also how poor Crystal Palace has been recently, that Fernandes will be involved. Any goals at United, Fernandes. So I'm picking Fernandes this game week. I think he'll be my overall captain. Kane, I mean, I still think that goes without saying, just because Burnley and Fulham, two teams he's very likely to pick up points against. So I like the look of Kane this coming game week. I want to avoid the City players because I think too much has been said of them this time around. So that's why that's also part of why I'll think about Maddison. I mean, Leicester are playing Arsenal and Burnley this next game week, and Maddison has been playing some really good football since he got back from injury. He's played himself in some form, and I think he's a worthy shout for this game week.
Okay, great. At the end of this round, we are tied at 17 apiece.
You couldn't find anyone to cheat for it.
That has never happened. I know not what you speak of. Which way do you guys lean towards, the Americans or the I guess everybody else with games and as a tie?
Well, I'm a man of, I like to win, but I'm feeling kind today, so I don't mind sharing the spoils.
Says the one who's never won.
Wow, no comment.
Aye, you know what? I think I did say throughout the podcast, if you guys caught it, that today's PM's day, so let's leave it as a tie. You know.
Wow. No comments.
Everybody deserves love. We're barely we're just a week, less than a week away from Valentine ending, so got to keep sharing it. So yeah, let's leave it there. 17 apiece. PM SJ. Round of applause.
Sorry, my mother told me not to clap for cheaters.
Oh, that's why you didn't clap for yourself, huh? I got it.
That was so funny. Oh my gosh. I am literally rolling on the floor right now.
Okay, aye. Okay, and lastly, before we bring this to a close, we have to go to the draw, announce the winners for the question that was asked last week. And PM, you want to take us through it?
Sure. So, the question was simple: who has scored the most goals in a Premier League season? And the answer, of course, was Mo Salah of Liverpool, formerly of Chelsea, now of Liverpool, but he scored the most goals in a Premier League season. And anyone who answered Mo Salah would have been entered into the draw. So to be eligible, of course, you have to be a YouTube subscriber to our YouTube channel. And of course, you have to have a government-issued ID and be above the age of 18. Very important. This has to do with how we send the money. You won't be able to pick up the money unless you have an ID. So I'd recommend either you have an ID or you can enter on someone else's behalf who has an ID, and when they win, you go them get the money. Yeah, that's all fine. I just want to remind you guys, subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to Google Podcasts, subscribe to Apple Podcasts, subscribe to anywhere that we have podcasts, and make sure that you listen every week. Turn on your notifications so that you don't miss, because every week we do have some kind of contest. Some weeks bigger than some. At some point, we will be giving away an Xbox Series X. Some point after that, so even be a PS5. So just make sure that you are listening to our podcast. And without much further ado, I guess to the moment you have all been waiting for. And the winner of the $10 giveaway for the question that was asked on Game Week 25 is Ali. You, wow. Hey, congratulations to you, and we will make sure we get you the money as soon as we can. Thank you for entering. Do make sure, if you didn't win, though, it doesn't mean you can't win next week. I can tell you for a fact that this man right here entered the week before, and didn't win and won this week. So maybe it could be you next week. So make sure you enter. We love you guys all, and we are sorry you didn't win, but you know how it is. It may not be your week this week, but maybe your week next week. So I'll hand it back to our esteemed MC OG.
Like you said, like, share, subscribe, leave your comments, questions, suggestions. We are happy to receive them. We see everything, we pay attention, and we listen to you guys, and we will continue to try to give you exactly what you want. So congratulations once again to AliU9. We will be in contact with you as soon as possible. And yeah, just keep tuning in. Guys, keep paying attention. There will always be little hints, the podcast, and yeah, every week is on a chance to win. So thank you once again for tuning in. Have a great week. Good luck in your fantasies, and we will see you next week.